Um, I just kind of wanted to follow up a little bit with what I was kind of talking about yesterday, about God haters and whatnot. I love, it's one of the classic lines that Carol always tells me, and I'm so thankful for it. She says, put your blinders on, put your spiritual blinders on, just focus on Jesus. And it's so true. That's one of the things that Satan likes to do, as he likes to get our focus off of Jesus and onto other people, onto problems, and focus on the little things rather than God and his things, which are way bigger. And just today during my Bible study, I was reading the scripture when Jesus was telling his disciples that he was going to be crucified, and Peter had taken him aside, began to rebuke him. And Jesus rebuked him right back and said, "Get behind me, Satan. You're not mindful of the things of God, but the things of man." And like, how embarrassing would that have been to have God rebuke you, And so if he did it to Peter, he's going to do it to all of us at one point or another. And it was, to me, I took it as, I don't want to say I took it as a rebuke to me, but I did, in a sense of being mindful of the things of God. And I think in one of the prison epistles, it talks about setting your mind not on the things below, but above where Christ is sitting. And since our citizenship is in heaven, that's what we should be doing. And we don't. I know I don't, as much as I should, like the scripture tells me to. But to set my mind on the things above where Christ is sitting, where we're going to be forever. This place is not our home. And then I was reminded of when I took that trip overseas, and I think anybody that's done any kind of missionary work can attest to this. Maybe not, maybe it's just me, but I was so convicted when I was over there, because after I'd been over there for about 2 weeks, I could not wait to get home. I wanted to be home so bad, and then the whole time, the Lord is convicting me of, this is not your home. Like, I live in Oregon, but Oregon is not my home. I'm a pilgrim. I'm a sojourner. The scripture calls us, and yet, how guilty are all of us, at least me, of making this place my home, and it's not. I'm just passing through. I'm just a pilgrim, and in Hebrews it says that those who declare such things seek plainly a homeland, which God has prepared for us, and God is not ashamed to be our God. And so I've just been kind of thinking, got my head in the clouds, just what's it gonna be like up there, I love the scripture where Jesus says, I go to prepare a place for you. If it were not so, I would not have told you. And what's that gonna be like? Think about, and I was thinking about this the other day, of the nicest house you've ever seen that a man, a sinful, vile, wicked human being has built. Think about the best food you've ever tasted that a sinful, vile, wicked human being has cooked, and how much better will that be from God? And it's just, it blows me away to think about, because the scripture even says that he'll gird himself up and serve them, and I'm like, wow. And thank God cooking for me, no, God preparing a place for me is wow. It's just like the scripture says, exceedingly abundantly above anything we can ask or think. And I'll never forget this Lou. Oh, God bless Lou. There was this guy at the Bible study who was talking about rewards and crowns and all this stuff, and he was going really deep into the Greek about it. And this guy spoke up and says, "I'd just be happy with some community service and a trash can." And Lou looks over at him and says, "Your requests are infantile," and he goes right back to studying. And and it's true, but that's the thing with me, is I don't know if the older I get in the Lord, I'm no, I don't want no crowns. No, I am just such a filthy wretch. Absolutely not. I don't want any. At first I was ooh, rewards, and now I'm no. Absolutely not. I do not deserve anything. He does. He deserves everything for everything he's done. Because he's done a lot of awesome stuff, God has, in my life. And And so yeah, I'm just pondering what life in our real home is going to be like. You know, I love in Revelation where it talks about how our home is going to be. You know, you've got the river coming from the throne of God. You've got the trees that bear fruit every month of the year that are for healing for the nations. You know, we're going to be living in a place that's sinless, perfect, and like all I could picture in my weird finite head is like, you know, in a video game when you've got the perfect character and then you get like the extra stuff and it just kind of boosts you up. That's all I can figure the trees are for. Because, you know, we're already going to have perfect bodies. And then we're going to have these trees that bear fruit that are for healing for the nations. And it's just like, wow. And I mean, it's just incredible. And so I'm just trying to focus on home right now. And really get my mind off of this world. Because this world is not my home. And that's just kind of what God's doing in my life. And I'm thankful for it, and I hope you're well, and God blesses you, and stay rooted and grounded in the love of the Lord.